Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So, got my hall pass, cashed that in, went to MHOR tonight. The only problem was they said they weren't turf racing and racing started at 3 o'clock and I got that message at about 2. So, in a hurry to pack up, I didn't pack up any spare parts. I threw everything in a bag. Took our Losi double XT, took our Schumacher, took our Tamiya. Got there and there wasn't a lot of people racing, so they only allowed us to race one class, and they had 3 classes tonight. So they had 21.5 two-wheel drive buggy, 17.5 buggy, and they had 17.5 two-wheel or 4-wheel. So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to race Nick's truck, the double XT, nor did I get a chance to run the Cougar because we were focusing on the Tamiya. So it does sound like the vintage race on the 19th is going to have a stadium truck class and a two-wheel drive class. So we are going to prep 2 trucks, and we just need to find 2 more. And I think Larry Doe's got one, and I think there's a couple others that might have them. I know there's a Trexas Blue Eagle LS. I think Chuck's got one. I've seen it before. So we might have 2 vintage races on the 19th, or at least 2 classes. However, this is a Tamiya video and talking about our Astute. So as you can see, our Astute looks in pretty good shape because it's putting down an ass whooping. No, not really. But it was consistent, I'll tell you that much. So hopefully more. I don't know. They were having problems getting everything set up, the heats and everything. So I don't know if there's any footage. And unfortunately, I didn't grab my phone to tape anything because there's only 3 heats. So by the time you marshaled, charged up your batteries, got your car prepped, you were racing again. So yeah, that's where we were at. But what we did do on this track is we ran 18 laps anywhere from the first heat. We ran 18 laps at a 5:07. So a good lap behind our double X buggy. And then in the next heat, we ran 18 laps at a 5:05. So our second qualifier was the fastest qualifier for us of the night, which was still getting us Q4 for the sort. And then Q3 for the sort, we ran a 5:09 at 18 laps, which got us 4th in the A main for 21.5. In the main, it drove my ass off. Was the worst main of the night. Kind of had a little troublesome traffic and getting around a little bit, and ran an 18 at a 5:13. So our worst qualifier. We still came home 4th in the A main, but it was tough. And the weird thing, and I shouldn't even say the weird thing. So people love the Tamiya. They thought it was great. It was cool to see it out there. I wish I had some footage of the racing, and maybe more will post it up. But like I said, I don't think they got their live stream going because they were having some technical difficulties with everything else. So I don't know if that got addressed. But I wish I would have grabbed my phone and did it, but there was too many of us watching. And what I mean by that is after the A main, we were the last class of the night. So after that was open practice. And Sam Ford, he's a sponsored AE driver. His kids are pretty quick too. Cam, and Sam's like, let me take that for a spin. And just so you know, Sam has won every vintage race with one of our cars. Either the first vintage race at MHOR, he ran our fan graphite, won that. The next vintage race, he had our B3, ran that, sent the vintage, I believe, the vintage lap record with our B3, won every heat, won that. And now coming up the 19th, we'll see. So I'm like, yeah, there's enough juice left in it. Take it for a spin. And he was turning some pretty good laps, and he loved it. He said, this is the fastest vintage car I've driven. Keep in mind, not only has Sam ran our B3, he did take our double X buggy for a few laps after one night, and he's obviously driven our fan graphite, and he's won every race. So that coming from Sam really kind of piqued my interest because I didn't think the car was that great. Maybe it's just my driving style. But and we all kind of agreed that the front shocks aren't optimal, so we're gonna have to figure out something else for the front shocks. The rear shocks seem all right, but it handled the high-speed sweeper great. The car was great all night, no problems. Did have a couple screws back out that I had to Loctite poke back in. Also, the wing mount is not that sturdy, so you can kind of just move it wherever you want. I don't know if that's a DRS or whatever's going on, but I'm going to run some longer screws there and put lock nuts on the bottom so that it doesn't move forward and back. But at least it never came out, so we will fix that. But J-Concept Smoothie 2s were great all night. I did try a different additive, so I tried Sticky Kicks Cherry Bomb, and that seemed to do pretty well. So I might be using that from now on. But Sam turned, 6-7 laps with this thing, and you literally watch 10 grown men just sit there and watch him. And he was quick. And like I said, when he came off the driver's stand, he said, it's the quickest car you got. And coming from Sam, that means a lot because he's driven our other cars for comparison. It's not like you driven something else. I mean, he's driven damn near our whole fleet, and we'll probably drive our trucks here in 2 weeks at the Vintage Race at MHOR as well to get his input. And I respect it a lot. I mean, he's a factory associated driver. He's fast. His kids are fast. There'll be a BK Classic, which he might, if you watch this channel, he might be taking one of our stadium trucks, and he may take the B3. I don't know, but he might be taking something. So the Astute ran great. It was a lot of fun to drive. People got a kick out of it. It did better than I thought it would, but there's still some potential there. The only really issues I had all night with the Astute was low speed corners. It felt like it was pushing a lot, and some people can dial in drag brake and get it to suit their driving style. I want all steering all the time, and it was hard for me to get there, especially with obviously our limited shock setup and everything else with this thing. We just didn't have a lot there to dial this in how I'd like to get it dialed in. So I was kind of stuck on that. I just adjusted the ride height and did the best we could. And but for what it is, like I said, it was great. So the other problem I had was the battery strap. So this would keep, I don't know if it was flexing or whatever, but it would keep coming off. So I think I am going to put an RC10 battery cup in here, or the problem is if I run a holder here, my battery's all the way up here and it may interfere with the terminals, but we'll see, I guess. But that's really the only problem we had all night with our Astute. Got our transponder in there. Nothing really came loose. I mean, the steering, like I said, the steering is still leaves a little bit to be desired, and I think there needs to be a shim on the inside of these wheels, because there's nothing loose, and it's just the wheels have a little play. So I'll probably put a washer either behind them or something for the next time we run this. But it ran well, and the hobby wing, I almost feel bad having the hobby wing in here and not having a G2, but the stock spec XR10 ran fine. Plenty of power in our surplus rocket. So if you've ever watched the MHOR Race, there's kind of a little jump to get on the straightaway. And in the first heat, we power wheelied this thing all the way down the straightaway and set it down and made the turn. And like I said, it ran great. It's just on the tighter stuff, I was having problems because the car for me would push. Sam, I don't know if he likes that or what, but he was able to wheel this car around a lot faster than me. I mean, my lap times were anywhere from about 15.4 to 15.6 is where my lap times were at throughout the night. And I bet Sam was turning low 14s easy. So it kind of begs the question, what do we do with the Astute? Do we graphite chassis this thing? get some different shocks. Do we get the TRF shocks? Do we do associated shocks? Do we do 1.02s in the back and 0.71s in the front? That way we have springs and everything available to tune it. To me, guys, let me know, because I actually was surprised how good this was. And like I said, when Sam said he ran it for 6-7 laps and he got off the driver's stand, he's like, that's the best vintage car you got. I liked the balance. He liked everything about it. He liked the power. That was really surprising. So the Astute, because the reason I say carbon chassis is it's hard to see on camera, but I can taco this thing like easy. So I don't know if we get rid of the FRP chassis and go to a carbon and get carbon shock towers and continue to pimp this thing out. Maybe get rid of the just stock, get a G2 in there, and see what we can do. All the X-Speed stuff held up great. The CVDs and stuff are absolutely dialed on this thing. No problems with those all night. Rotate free. Diff is great. Hubs are awesome for the X-Speed hubs. Like I said, always had to peel this back all night to kind of go through some of these screws and re-Loctite and stuff. But did that after like the first couple heats, and then the third and the main haven't done anything, and those are still nice and stiff in there. So JC Racing Arms held up great. Like I said, didn't have a problem with the car all night, so ran well. There's still some more potential here, and my limited resources on the Tamiya, I just don't know. I'm looking for a little direction from my Tamiya fan club, seeing what we can do to get this thing going a little bit quicker. Shock package is probably the biggest thing. Like I said, the battery clamp, I don't know. It would come loose. Like this part would come off. The battery is still in here because I think the foam pressure held it in good, and this part was still locked on. This was kind of swiveling around. But I'd like to get that figured out and done. But man, other than that, the Astute's great. It was a lot of fun, a lot of smiles. People were laughing. Everyone talking about how, I had a grasshopper, I had a frog, Tamiya, and some people have never even, Cameron, who's like 8, never even heard of a Tamiya. Yeah, so he thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, that's our Astute. So the other thing, and you've probably seen it in the background, is obviously I'm becoming known as the vintage guy at MHOR. So I want to thank Marcus Ratcliffe and his dad. They gave me a whole box of Losi XX and I think XXX T wheels. So these wheels I had for my truck, these are Proline blades, I believe. So kind of half pin, half group, really just kind of a weird tire. Rims are perfect. So I'm probably going to clean these up and use these as like shelf or display tires, because these are awesome. And they get a bunch of other ones in here. The other thing is, and help me out below, and there's some of these that have been mounted and like never used, like these taper pins. These are fronts. I know they got full sets of these. So the taper pins. But they do have, and I know Marcus's dad has a XXXT Pavitas. And I believe that he's got just the rears. He doesn't have the fronts. But these are brand new rear Pavitas rims. I believe. Because they've never been mounted to a pin or anything. So awesome on them. Like I said, now I have a huge box here. I don't have to worry about finding rims for our Losis. So I don't know if the XXX offset is the same as the XX offset. Man, I don't know. It looks close, but I guess we'll have to kind of mount some up and see. But they got just a ton of rims and tires in here that we can definitely use, and I'll probably send a set or two to Nick as well for his. I don't know if he's racing his or not, and I know he's got other Losies and stuff, so maybe he'll want to do. But man, some of these are still plush. I'm going to clean them up a little bit and see. We got some rib fronts here on the old school rims, and like I said, what are these? Proline edges because they got like a kind of a weird tire. Well, some cool stuff. So Marcus and his dad, thank you. So we got some rims on the Losi, but yeah, wanted to, if I can find the races, I will, but I don't think anyone recorded them. It was kind of a mellow club night. There wasn't a ton of us there. Like I said, 3 heats of about 7 to 8 cars per heat. And yeah, the Astute, like I said, did well. Our chassis protector's not too bad a shape. Our arms survived. Like I said, we didn't really have any crashing or anything. It was just slower. I was having a tougher time. And then, like I said, I kind of gave it to Sam because I wanted to get his opinion. He's like, dude, this is the fastest car you got. And that kind of surprised me. And maybe it just suited his driving style better. Maybe he likes a pushy car where I don't. I'd rather have a loose car. So kind of weird, but yeah, it survived. Our rims didn't even really get nicked up that bad. So I'll clean up the wheels and get those in there. But I don't know if I'm going TRF, but I might be going TRF because I thought this thing was going to be abysmal and I really didn't expect much out of it. And I am pretty damn impressed, honestly, that it was even that competitive against. And like I said, guys, if you haven't watched this channel, like MHOR has vintage racing like every other month. I race vintage cars all the time. I don't care. So we were racing against B7s, the new Losi 22X. And this car is still not finishing last. And that's great news. So, but there's still a lot more potential. Like I said, we're about a lap off our pace with our double X. So I don't know what to do other than throw like associated shocks on this because I know kind of what setup works, and I got springs and I can actually tune those shocks a lot better than what I can do with these. Even though these are close, I think really the rear's good. The front end is, I don't know. Sam Ford told me really not to touch it. He's like, man, it's great. He's like, on high speed, it's super stable. And that's what I like. And he's like, yeah, at the lower speed, it's got a little push, but a little brake and stuff. He's like, it's no problem. And like I said, he was quick, and there was at least 10 grown men watching him go around that track for 5, 6, 7 laps, amazed at how fast he was reeling a Tamiya. And I got a little, I'm telling you what, I'm getting a little tear in my eye over the Tamiya. Because like I said, I didn't expect much from it, and I kind of thought, oh, we'll run it. But now I'm kind of attached to this thing. And now I'm trying to figure out, do I just goddamn clap this thing out? Carbon chassis, carbon shock towers. I don't know if there's some type of chassis brace to maybe stiffen it up, but this thing is awesome. So anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe down below. We'll see you on the next one. I will try to see if there's any race footage. Don't be disappointed if there isn't. We'll try to get some more, but the Tamiya is definitely coming back, and it might be at the vintage race on the 19th. So like, comment, subscribe. Hoping you're having a good July 4th holiday weekend. We'll see you on the next one.